Fantastic.
So good morning, everyone. I'm Nicolina Cooper. I am the new Managing Director for Public Sector in Unity 5. I only started last month, so bear with me. Still learning the trade in Unity 5. But as some of you may know, I've been in local government for about 30 years, mainly in the transport, highways and parking sector. Anthony, do you want to introduce yourself?
So my name is Anthony Liversidge. I've not been in the industry as long as you, but I worked out yesterday, it's 19 years.
Wow.
So I started my days off way back in the day working on the congestion charge project as a rep CSR.
Yeah.
And then gradually through over the years, I've become a project manager, worked on many local authorities delivering all sorts of parking projects in the enforcement area. And then around 5 years ago, I went down to the freelance contracting route. Did some other bigger projects for like clean air scheme, traffic filters, and whatnot. And for the last year, I've been working with Unity 5 as a project manager, and most recently like a solutions architect.
Brilliant. And this is some of your output from that work.
Exactly. Yeah. So working with one of our recent clients, Lambeth Council, working on getting the licensing system transfer from the previous solution over to ours.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So this isn't a sales pitch today. We just want to give you some information on what we've been up to and some of the outcomes we're seeing based on this new solution. So we'll begin if that's all right.
Yeah, let's do it.
So just in terms of going through the discussion points, we're going to look at what were originally the challenges being faced by local authority. How does the software actually work? So we'll talk you through that. We've removed the Lambeth case study in this case, but actually, if you want any feedback on that, we can provide that on our website. And then we're going to go through the licensing software, so how now it's implemented, how that's made life easier and the benefits and outcomes from that. And then we'll talk about how much time has been saved in terms of efficiency, but also providing that much better customer service with a much quicker turnaround. Then we'll go through some frequently asked questions from feedback we've already had on the product, and then we'll open up to questions with all of you.
Fantastic.
Brilliant. So what are the challenges faced by the local government teams? So what we did is we originally looked at different personas within the local authority dealing with licensing, and we picked up some of the issues they were having. So for example, from the planning and licensing head of service perspective, they were dealing with really slow manual application processes. So these were taking a long time to process, customer complaints coming in because they weren't getting responses as quickly as they needed. But also what the licensing software now does is bring all of that information into one centralized overview. So you can actually see what is happening within your business around licensing in one view with some really cool dashboards as well.
Yeah.
From sort of digital technology perspective, talking to the head of service there, he was particularly concerned about platform instability, integration complexity, because nowadays we want to share data between different systems to enable, we want integration between different systems to be able to share data and look at outcomes and benefits across the organisation, not just within the licensing sector. Also concerns around the user experience. So we did a lot around customization and that user journey to improve that.
Absolutely, yeah. The user journey is the most important bit for us, isn't it?
It really is. It's about that customer look and feel and making sure that it's a couple of clicks away and it's really simple and intuitive to use, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll go on to more detail as we go on.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there were some data and security issues and replacement of a legacy system. And then you've got sort of from the revenue and finance officer perspective, they weren't maximising their income around fee capture. It was hard to reconcile their payments. They were failing to ensure that they had timely renewals in terms of licensing, and it was quite slow for enforcement in terms of revenue capture and resolving that. Yeah. So they were the challenges we were faced with, and therefore we then designed the product around those business objectives.
Absolutely. Even with, when you mentioned the legacy system replacements, that was not just one system. Some councils have many systems just to manage licenses because it varies so much. So some have lots of web forms, some are simply paper-based, and then they have the ability to have a couple of licenses on a system. So the customer journey right from the start to say, where do I go for my license? It's like, it's mind-boggling. You go to all different councils' websites and it's, you know, fill out this form or download and print this and post it in, or no, you can have an account for this one. So yeah, it's lots of systems we want to streamline into the one. So that's what we're aimed to talk about.
Absolutely. Brilliant. So Anthony, can you tell me a little bit, how does the licensing software work?
Yeah, so most local authorities would have heard of ZAP Park. Sorry, ZAP Permit. They might have heard of ZAP Park, but for this talk, we're talking about ZAP Permit. And ZAP Permit is a system that's been around for quite a while. It's in the private and the public sector. Its strength is managing permits. With that, what we've done is built in a module inside there to handle licenses. Licenses is vastly different to permits, but by building this inside ZAP Permit, we were able to take all of the existing functionality from there that's beneficial. So you've got the accounts, so it's account based, so you didn't have to redevelop that if we can reutilize the portal. Then you've got notifications on top of that. The audit history, that's quite a big piece. So
yeah, absolutely.
all of the work that we went through to make sure all of the events of those applications are tracked in the audit history, that's all there. Even just the approval process, the asking for more information, all of the structure around processing application, we pulled that across to licensing. And the bits that go, I guess, different to permits is what we'll talk about on the next few slides.
Brilliant. Sounds great. So dynamic questions, what does that mean?
Well, it is very dynamic, right? So for permits, the questions were very straightforward and static. You know, you'd ask a few simple questions about a permit. For licensing, it varies massively. You know, you could look at hiring out a horse, for instance. The types of questions on there are so vast and different types. And then you've got a pavement license, a taxi license. They all vary massively. So what we realized is we need a really, really customizable questions form. Yep. And what you can see on the screen is we've got the ability to create questions in sections and then questions within those sections, right? So you could have your top part of the form builder as, let's say, file uploads.
Yeah.
So you can build, so what you've got there is a list of different question types you can have. So the first part can just be about documents. So you can have file upload or multiple file uploads. The next question can be a disclaimer. So I agree to this, is a tick box. The next one could be a drop-down list saying which commodity do you want to sell. It's really endless. And you've got number grids. You can even say what is the space you want to take up outside your shop front, and it can put the dimensions and it calculates the dimensions on there. Oh, so once you've got the dimensions, you can then go down, perhaps if a council did want it, to price based on the area,
the square footage.
The square footage, yes. If you put in a system, you know, it's £100 per square metre, and that question would drive the fee for that actual license.
Nice.
You've also got standard text, number grids, many. There is more that's on that list, but I just put this screenshot on here so you can try to visualize what I'm talking about, because this isn't a full system demo. You know, anybody wants a full system demo, we can do as many, you know, on request afterwards. But hopefully this is give you an idea around the main application, because a license, I guess 90% of the license is the application, the questions. Yeah. So by having this ability to create endless types of questions allows you to structure your questionnaire in a way to capture as much information as possible.
So really, this is effectively an online application process that's configured based on the licensing type. So if it was a pavement license, it would have different questions within the application process. But if we were looking at, say, a gambling license, then there would be different questions within that, and that's all customizable by the end user.
Yeah. So you know, like you said there, pavement license, you'd go in and set the actual questions you want just for that license type. And if it's a skip license, You might only have one question, and you can just fill that question, and that's part of the application.
Great. Nice. Shopping lists, what's this about?
We haven't come up with a term. It can be dynamic. I didn't want to use dynamic too many times. So we've got shopping list, because everyone can visualize what a shopping list is. If you're ordering something off Amazon, I want this, I want this, I want this. You can see your basket increasing in cost.
Okay.
So if you from the previous slide, I've talked about the application itself. If you visualize that now, where you've got all of your questions listed, and at the bottom, well, even before that, you kind of know a baseline price of the application. It could have been on the council's website, or even without adding any shopping list items, you can see on the screen where you've got total cost. You can see what the license cost is. Yeah. This then gives the council the ability to add any or sell any additions to that license. Right, and it could vary massively. So the one on the screen I've got is an A board. So if they want to sell a pavement license and give the ability for the shop to put an A board out the front, they can add an additional cost to that. Okay. And what we've seen as well, some councils have a different license type called tables and chairs. And it is exactly the same as a pavement license, except they add on additional items. So this one gives them the ability to still have a pavement license, but they can add things on top of there. So on here, what you'll see is, and this is, you can create as many items as you wanted to. On the right-hand side, the idea is to give the applicant complete visibility of the cost. So
totally transparent.
Yeah, they might have an idea saying, I've only got £1,000 to spend on this license, but I want lots of tables and chairs out the front. So they can go to here, say, okay, the base price is £500. They can see what price of everything is, and they just toggle it up, toggle it down, and then they can work out what they can afford in that price. And even in the back office, you can set a minimum and maximum for each of these items. So if you only wanted 2 A boards as a maximum for any business, you can just set that as 2. So you're not going to have someone that buys 15 A boards and just stick them all around the street. You can have control over there. And one thing I was thought on the drive this morning, because I'm that boring,
is me.
I know. But I was trying to think of different things that you could sell on, right? Because not all licenses will have extra things. One thing I thought of is the license itself. If it's the notice, the license printout. Yeah. Some people haven't got printers, so like, how do I do this? And they might have to go to a shop that has a printer and do it or not. So you could add on a line item here that says a physical copy of my notice. Put in £10 or whichever cost it costs the council. They put that through. They know that then the council has to print off that notice and send it to them. Yeah. So it's an extra service you're carrying out, but the council can get the cost right from the start, and it gives the applicant the option right from the outset.
I like
it's an idea.
What about, so in terms of shopping list though, can I also buy multiple licensing products? So could I buy my A boards, and then could I also put in my basket a skip license at the same time?
Not at the moment, no. Okay. But I guess it's all about demand, I guess. Yes. So at the moment with licenses, we don't envisage lots of people buying lots of licenses at the same time. It could be the case for solicitors. Yeah. So if the use case comes up, it's something we can absolutely look at, but it's not something we've focused on in the immediate.
No, but this is very much sort of the core product, isn't it? There is development happening to improve it continuously.
Well, we've got a section later on where we talk about continuous improvement and whatnot, so we can talk about it then.
Yeah. Brilliant. And a consultation portal, how does that work?
Good question.
Yeah. I'm
glad I know. So not all licenses, right? Everyone on this call would know licenses vary. Yeah. If there's a skip license, I very doubt it would go to consultation. A pavement, shop fronts, tables and chairs, and many, many more would want to go to consultation. Of course. And the consultation period is probably defined by legislation, but if it's not, it's a configurable period of days you can set in the system. So if you want 14, 28, a year.
So it's based on council policy, really.
Yeah, council policy. And so if it's, let's say then you've got a license that has the consultation configured. The very first thing it would do, as soon as an application is sent to us, and literally as soon as it hits our system, we send the applicant an email that states thank you for your application. It's going to consultation.
Yeah.
Please see attached your consultation notice that you need to present to the public.
Okay.
Yeah. So on the screen, I've got an example just there. So you can have a customizable template for every single license you've got. So you can completely bespoke that. And for one of our last clients, what we've done is, rather than put the website on there for them to go to the consultation portal, is just a quick QR code, and then that takes them to the right place. Because, you know, if you're a member of public and you're walking past a shop and you're like, what's this? You don't want to be typing in the website. You can quickly scan the QR code, run off, and then do your feedback afterwards.
That's nice.
That's the wrong screenshot on there. So anybody that wants demo later on will get a better view of the consultation portal. But bear with me, I'll do my best to describe it. The consultation portal is a portal that any member of public can go to without needing an account.
Okay.
So they navigate to that page and presents you with a map and a list of all the applications that are at consultation for that council.
Yeah.
The map's interactive. You can zoom in, zoom out, and you can see all of the licenses for the properties that are around the area. You click on any of the pins and it gives you more information about the license.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted to, you can then submit feedback. So
Okay.
if you're not happy with the size of the pavement area that the business want to put through, then you can go in and say, I think that's too big, it needs to be reduced, and you can put your feedback in there. You can put a phone number or an email address as optional if you wanted to be part of that
Nice.
process. As soon as that's sent through, then the council will get notified that a piece of feedback has been received as part of that application. And then during that stage, any feedback that's received then feeds into the review process, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. One more thing that I forgot to mention on the consultation. For each license type, we've got an area where you can add stakeholder emails.
Yeah.
Similar to the applicant getting the email.
So this would be like your statutory consultees, like fire, police,
Exactly.
ambulance,
Yeah.
etc.
Exactly
So
like
you've
that.
got your standard ones in there. So disability forums, all of that stuff, and then you add it out.
Exactly that. So
Brilliant.
what they would get is a bespoke email. You know, the email is bespoke to the local authority, and they would get that email to say, this application has come through, it's at consultation, and they give them the link. They click the link and they can view the application details and submit feedback if they want to.
Sounds really,
Yeah,
really smooth, actually. Very nice.
That was the aim.
And then we've got inspections.
Yes.
So I'd imagine this is the part post the application to go and have a look at what you're approving, essentially.
Yeah, a bit like consultations, it's dependent on the license type.
Yeah.
So let's say, skip license, because it's a very basic one. You don't really want to go and do an inspection on that.
No.
If it's a shopfront one, you want to follow up as part of the application process, to go and do an inspection.
Yeah.
Make sure what they're stating on the form is correct.
Absolutely.
Right. Pardon me, really knows that. There's a couple of parts to it. You've got a bit on the right hand side. Now, it's a bit small. You probably have to visualize it again. This is, again, a dynamic question form. So what you can create for each license type, a bespoke list of questions for the inspector to see. So when you've created the inspection, the inspector will see all of these questions, and it can be as descriptive or not as descriptive as you want. So it could be, make sure I've checked the details of the application are correct. Yes. It's not infringing on the pavement, or it's not too close to the highway.
It's meeting DDA compliance.
Yes, all of those questions. And then I think probably on the bit there, you've got free text for them to describe any feedback, even a recommendation, so the inspector can say, yeah, based on what I see, I recommend it can be approved, disapproved, or even ask for more information. So
it sounds like it also helps, though, with that consistency from the inspection perspective, because they're all checking the same data effectively on different inspections.
Yeah. Even as part of the inspection, they'll have the access to view all the application as well. So if they were filling out, if they've got just the form and it states, are they using the right space? What they can do is go to the application and see exactly what was applied for. So
Okay.
so they're not inspecting blind. They can see all the inspection details. They can even go in and view what proof was provided. Make sure that so they can almost verify the application from what they can see. Submit the form, and then that comes into the back office. Now that's the form part. Before that though, once your form is all set up, imagine now the applications come into the back office.
Yeah.
The back office can review it, make sure, yeah, that seems everything's in order. They don't need to ask for any proof at that stage or any additional information. They would create an inspection. So they would pick what form they wanted to raise. So on the screen there, I've chose the pavement inspection form.
Yeah.
And that is, it'll be asking the right questions based on a pavement license. You put in the date and time for the inspection, and you pick your inspector. So if you want to allocate this to a set team, that's completely configurable. You can have a dedicated team, individuals, all sorts, however it wants to be configured. What that then does is creates an inspection in the record, in the system. So we've got a license section and an inspection section.
Yeah.
So you know which inspections are due. So whoever's working on the inspections can go in and see that I've got one in this area. I can see that this one needs to be done. As soon as that inspection is done, created, so that left-hand screen image you see there.
Yeah.
Once they press save on there, like I say, it creates the inspection, but it also sends an email to the applicant to say an inspection has been booked, this date and time. You'll be visited by an enforcement officer to carry out an inspection.
Great. So you've got the customer feedback loop, and you've got the workflow for the inspectors on top of that. So we can now see who's doing what work, what's outstanding, what's due when, what's delayed. Are we meeting key performance indicators? All of that sort of thing as well. Yeah. Very nice. I really do like that. And then this is the license that's actually generated. So this is where you were talking about this document being printed on their behalf potentially. Yes,
exactly that. So the first printout they get is the consultation one, where they just display that in the window. This one is right at the end. So if their application has been approved, and again, this is configurable. Not all licenses would have a notice, but food premises, all sorts of licenses out there that would want something physically printed to say your license has been approved. This is your evidence that you've got this license. Yeah. And what we've got is it's really configurable. I say the word configurable, but it is. If you imagine you've got a Word document, you can put anything on there. Yeah. Right. So this is the same thing. So you can create a notice document per license type. So you can display it how you wish. So you have a template per license, and it's my belly rumbling, isn't it? I couldn't hear it. So during the end of the application, let's say you want to accept this application, you just follow the process, press accept, and it gives you a chance to preview the license. Now, the preview is quite a useful tool because for some licenses, you may need to add special conditions. Yeah. Right. And those special conditions differ for every single applicant. Yeah. And those special conditions might have been fed back from the inspector. And I said, yep, it's fine having this many chairs, but they need to be put away by 6 p.m. or they can't go as close to the pavement, etc. Yeah. Those conditions are then, as part of the inspection process and maybe even consultation, those special conditions are entered by the back office processor. So let's say they've forgotten to do that. They press preview, make sure the license is correct before they send it. They say, oh, I've missed something. Yeah. So they can go back, add in the special conditions, press accept again, press preview. They're like, yep, great. This is the exact one I want to send out by post or email or print. And they press OK. And then that does a couple of things. The first thing is the applicant will get an email with this attached, so they can print it out. If we were just brainstorming at the start, where if the council wanted to download it and print it for them, they can do that. But then for some reason, let's say the accountant loses their email, they press delete rather than print. They can go back into their account and go to their attachments and just simply download it and print it. Okay. And even down the line, if for some reason there was an accident and it got wet, they need to print another one, go back to their account and just print another one. So if they wanted 2 or 3 printing, put in different windows, then they can print as many. It's always available. So it's always available. It got damaged, being displayed or something, they can reprint it and put it back. Absolutely. It's always stored there. And one key thing as well on here, now you won't be able to read it because it's quite far away for us, there's lots of different merge fields on there.
Nice.
So all of that information, and I say merge fields is because that's how it's done.
Yeah.
You've got a base form, and that pulls in all of the data from the applications. There's no typing involved. You don't need to go in and say, these were the permitted trading days that they put on there. Whatever they chose in the application is pulled through onto this. The date's populated, the signature will be populated on there. All the information that you want on there would be part of the application. So it's all pre-populated. There's no manual typing involved. It's all there for you.
So a lot more efficiency and quicker processing.
Yeah, that's the aim. Yeah.
Very nice. So how does licensing software make life easier? I think we've touched on a few points as we've gone through.
Yeah.
But branding and simple public UI, what does that mean for councils in layman's terms?
Oh, it's a hot brew. So the key thing, the branded, is that you can customize the landing page to a certain extent to make it look and feel like the council's website.
Right. Okay.
So typical user journey for any permit system or other system, the applicant would start their journey off the council's website, either from Google or wherever. They click, yep, licensing system. What we want to do is create almost like a seamless transition. So it goes from the council's page to the licensing system. So you've got the branding there, the logo, the color scheme, all that type of thing is what we mean by a branded and simple public UI. And simple means is we've followed suit from that permit because all of the feedback we received over the years and all the development work gone in to make it user friendly, that's there still for licensing. So creating your account, the UI is still the same as permits. The creating your account, logging in, navigating around the account, that's all there. So all of the years worth of development research, market research, feedback from councils is all there for licensing. It's not like it's a brand new system that we're going to have to go through that life cycle again. So
nice.
That's what we mean by that one.
It's also flexible for multiple users types. So we were talking about this. So it does the pavement licensing, it does shopfront skips. What else? Gambling licensing.
Well, this is the thing. So you go to a license. Like we were saying, the majority of it is the questions.
Yes.
So what we've tried to do is be accommodating as possible for a vast array of licenses.
Yeah.
So and we keep just calling out a few, but you go to a council's website and they've probably got 100+ different applications, and you can click through them all, and they could vary from a paper-based application or a form that you've had to use, like a website form to build. And they all vary massively. So the dynamic questioning and the shopping list pricing and various other tools that we've got has allowed us to cater for endless licenses. So, when we're talking about skips, we say skips because that's very basic. Yeah. But then you go to taxi and licensing. Right? It's an application, a payment, and then you want to produce a license at the end. And if you want to go to inspection or even consultation, you can. You can have those extra bits in there. You can have other simple ones, scaffolding skips and whatnot. And you've also got, and when we're talking about premises, you've got other things where mooring, for instance.
Absolutely.
You've got lots of local authorities that have their area surrounded by a river. So they perhaps manage mooring license through a different system. Yes. Because they're called mooring licenses. In the life cycle of a license is no different to say a skip. And if there is any bespoke little bits that go in there that we don't quite cater for, from our research, they should be quite minor. Yeah. So if a council does approach us and say it doesn't quite fit it, we're like, well, it's not going to be far off. So if that, and we're pretty sure that will be beneficial to the system. So we'll work with the council just to simply change that piece of work. We don't imagine it to be large, quick little tweak, and there you go. You can then have that user journey for that particular license.
And that's mainly because the kind of application and consultation process are also, what's the word? Configurable. We keep using that word, but it can change and adapt based on what the council wants, their policies, their questions, their ways of working effectively.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's nice. And then we've got LLPG, so this is GIS data.
Yes.
So why are we pulling that into the system?
It would differ per license type, right? But let's say we're working with a local council, we want to bring in all the applications.
Yeah.
The first thing we could do is use their LLPG data set, with the approval through whichever route they want to share it.
Yeah.
We ingest that into the system, and if it's, let's say, skip license again, you don't really want to put restrictions on addresses because any residential property may want to skip. But then if you let's have shop, for instance, you want to limit it to just shops.
Yeah.
Then you get the property class as in part of the LLPG data.
Yeah.
And then you can, when you're configuring a specific license, you can say, restrict this license type to these property classes.
Okay, so it will only hit business class.
Absolutely.
Properties.
So when an applicant goes, they may put in their correspondence address in their accounts, but they go to apply for a license and it says, enter your postcode. It will only return those addresses from the LLPG data that are applicable for that license type. And that way you can stop. Well, I guess if you open it to all, the council will have to say, is this address applicable? Yeah. And they might have to look at the UPRNs and say, yep, okay, yeah, this is a shop. But by just putting that simple restriction in there,
it does it for them.
It does it for them, yeah.
So again, saving time.
Saving time and
more accuracy.
More accurate, yes, that's it.
Nice. And then automation and customizable notifications. So is this around sort of emails out to the customer or to the inspector or push notification, that sort of thing?
Yeah, exactly that. So we built it in a way that it's not, we don't want it to be too rigid.
Yeah.
So, if you were having 50 different license types in there, you're not just going to get one generic email that goes out.
Yeah, no.
So let's say it's an accept email. We haven't just got the ability, we haven't just limited it at just one accept email type, because if you send the one accept email, you're going to have to bespoke it so much that it applies to all of those licenses.
Yeah.
So we'll have the ability to add as many, so you can create 50 accept emails, allocate them to each of the license types. So then therefore, if it's a gambling license, you can put specific text in there that applies to them. So if you want to remind them of any legislation around there, so, you need to be polite to neighbours and all of this, you can put that in there. So it's just bespoking it a little bit more. And the automation piece, that probably carries over from Zap Permit itself, where you've got reminders. You can configure when reminders are sent, because you'll configure the renewal period. So all based on what you set up, they can then trigger the automatic emails that are being sent out. So you don't need to go in and say, send a reminder email. It's automated. It's got the, the inherent reminder tools from Zap Permit. So it will send the right time. So if a renewal's up in a month and you've said, send renewals at this time, then it will send. Yeah. You've also got the ability for them themselves to go in and add an extra reminder. So they'll have an extra reminder. Yeah.
Nice. Integrated inspections module. I think we've talked about
that. I think
we probably
have. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else to really say.
But obviously, it's the efficiency, it's the accuracy, it's the consistency that's sort of coming out of the whole system.
Yeah.
Overall,
I think with that, the benefit is when they're using the inspections thing on their mobile.
Yeah.
They because they can use anything really. They can, if they've got a tablet, because they need a bigger space to type, because they are, they can be different to CEOs. It's not, they're continuously using their device. An enforcement officer might be only doing 10 inspections that day. So they'll go to the site and have more time. So they may choose to use a tablet.
Yeah.
If they use a tablet, they've got bigger space to type. But if they were using a mobile device, they can access the inspection form via the mobile. And the joy with that, if you go to the image part, they can just use, rather than taking photos and uploading them, they go to the take photo functionality. Everyone's used on their phones. Take photo, and it takes all the photos that you wish, and then that's part of the.
So it goes into your evidence as part of the inspection.
Yeah, you don't need to take photos and then go to your phone and upload.
No, it's
all part of the form. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. And then I know we said at the beginning, this is sort of our first go live with this product, and we're looking to continuously improve it and grow it. Actually, what does that look like?
We've got so much exciting stuff going on. So we've done lots of work already where we're speaking to various councils, getting as much feedback in as possible, doing market research, going across all the various types of licenses. So we didn't just look at a few, we looked at lots and said, how can we make this applicable to all? So that's what we've been doing all the way through. And we continue to do that. And with this system, as with ZAP permit, has evolved throughout all the years. And, you know, with permits, not one permit is the same from across the council. Is it a resident permit? It's not just a resident permit. Every single council has different rules.
Absolutely.
So just with that, with a license, you know, a pavement license will still vary. Hopefully we captured that simple flow. But if there's something in there, we can, you know, absorb it with our team and say, that's a great bit of functionality, we'll add that in. There's a couple of things I'll put on there that I just wanted to talk about. I call it the cinema style bookings.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Only because it helps with visualizing.
Yeah.
So if you visualize, you know, you're going to book a seat at the cinema, it gives you the whole display.
Yes.
So you can see what's free. So if you apply this,
Lights have gone.
move to move.
There we go.
If you apply this to markets, right, that's what
Yeah,
we're currently
yeah.
looking into, and this is quite an exciting piece. So you can in our system, you'll be able to create a market area. So all the pitches. So you can say pitch 1 to pitch 50.
Yeah.
Each one can have a different price because it might be a little bit bigger. That might be closer to the entrance or the exit, and vice versa. So that will give the council the ability to sell permanent pitches and whatnot. But on top of that, what we want to do is give the ability to introduce day traders.
Yeah.
So the council might want to keep a few of those pitches free.
Yeah.
Or even if that day trader's turned up and pitch 1 has already got a permanent license purchase for it, but if that's free, then I guess within the council's rules, that day trader can occupy that pitch. And if they've got an account, they go in and say, yes, I want to purchase a day pitch. They can say, yeah, pitch 1, choose pitch 1 and purchase the day fee. And as soon as that's purchased, they've then got a license to operate from that day pitch that day. And as soon as they've purchased that one, that pitch 1 is grayed out. Yeah. So another day trader can't come out and purchase that one. So that way it gives the ease for the applicant, for a day trader, to simply go and buy that pitch. And if you creating an account's not difficult.
No.
But once they've got that account, you know, and save the card details or whatever they do on their device, they can really easily buy that pitch. So if they're turning up a few days a week, it's nice and easy for them to
do it on the day.
Absolutely.
Then and there. I do like the map of the sort of market trading area, and then being able to pick where. You know, we appreciate it can be confusing. All markets look different. Some are really, really busy, and some you can quite easily visualize. But I guess even with the drawing, you'd have pitch numbers on there because a lot of the pitches are numbered anyway. So you can go and say pitch 3. Yeah, don't really need a map to know pitch 3. So perhaps we'll have a drop down to say pitch 3. So that's what we're currently going through. So we're quite excited by that one because we know a lot of councils are really interested in that, and its functionality we see it's beneficial to market traders as well as the councils. So that's something we're eagerly looking at. I've been there and managed markets. It's not one of the easiest services, I have to say.
Before we go on there, we can't see it on our screen. The guys will be able to. So it's the as well as license type. License type visibility. We see this one as a simple fix, but quite a powerful one. Right? And the reason I say that is you've got licenses spread across all different departments in councils.
Yes.
You've got environmental, trading standards, planning, highways, all sorts, right?
Yeah.
And if you're in environmental, you're not really interested in my highways licenses. And when you log in, you don't really want to see them. You don't want to see what inspections I've got to do and whatnot. So what we're doing is building in, if you go to a license, it's almost like visibility rules.
Yes.
So you can say, okay, this team here can see this, this, and this. And when you log in, you can see these license types. So when your experience of logging in can be different to mine. It's the same system, but based on visibility rules, you'll see just what you should see, and I'll see just what I should see. So therefore, if you've got, I've written down here, like minimum 5 departments, you've got one system, but almost like it looks like 5 systems because they can all see different things. So that way, it's this simple change that we can do very quickly will allow the council to segregate their work and not bottle it down, because all departments work differently. So and sometimes probably different legislations, maybe not even talking to each other. They might even be in different buildings. And they will get precious over their work. They don't want you meddling with their work and accidentally creating an inspection for them and sending out their environmental officers to the wrong place. So this then gives the ability to just see your own work. And that's something we were only discussing recently as last week, and we think that's very good.
I think that's really good.
Yeah, and the team was saying it's such a simple change to do.
Yeah.
And just that simple change adds lots more flexibility for the council.
Absolutely. I mean, I like the fact that you've got individual services, because they do work differently, and the licenses are really different. But the fact it's all in one system, councils are trying to look at outcomes-based targets. Actually, you can see licensing across the piece and how much of an impact our licensing is having for the council as a whole, even though there are multiple different services.
Yeah,
that's nice. I like that. I am getting conscious of time, so we're on to FAQs now. So this is just some of the feedback that we've had whilst working with multiple different councils. So it's simple for business, such as solicitors, to manage multiple licenses on behalf of their clients. So, we talked a little bit about this, but actually this is a solicitor business being able to work on multiple different licensing applications at the same time. Yeah,
exactly that. So we know that not everybody manages their own application.
Yeah.
They either go to a solicitor and say, can you process my application for me?
They do, yeah.
And solicitors might be processing 50 plus of the same application throughout the year, managing their renewals, etc. So a solicitor can set up one account, and then they can have as many licenses as they wish. So they can apply for all of the, so we can set rules. We can say only one of this license type at this property, but you can have as many as you like.
Yes.
Because you might be a business owner and want 15 of the same license. As long as they're at different addresses, then you can do that. We can set a cap on how many you can have in one account, but for a solicitor, for instance, they may have 100 plus in there. So when they navigate to their account, it's really easy for them to apply filters on license types, go to see all the information, etc. And also we've got flexibility in there for, even if the applicant did want an account, they can nominate another user to almost share their account. So they can go on and say, put in the solicitor's email address and share their account with them. Gives the solicitor permission to apply on their behalf.
I like that. I like that. And payments processed easily in real time, I would imagine. Yeah,
in real time. So at the moment, people who know Zap Permit, it's got quite a few different payment options, whether you want to collect payment out afterwards or before. What we've gone for licensing is collecting payment up front. Right, so you don't want to go through all the work and then chase for payment afterwards. And licenses cost quite a bit of money. So we collect payment up front, and as soon as the payment is made, then it's instant, right? So and I say payments are instant, but the payment process will vary from council to council. It depends on whether they're using our payment solution or we've integrated with theirs. That process will vary. But as soon as it's paid, it's in our system, it's updated. Yeah, and I guess because there's a bit of that breakdown of fees on there. So in the configuration for the license type, you can say if it's £500, that may be an application fee or a license fee, admin fee, license fee. Either way, it's broken down into several different words, and we can have that visibility for the applicants, so they can see what the license fee is, and they can also see what the admin fee is.
So that payment screen we showed earlier, where it splits out the cost effectively.
Yeah, so that's the step before the payment screen. That's as part of the application. You press yes, and then you'd be on the payment screen, and you can see the full breakdown there. But not only is it just good for the applicant, it's also good then for the back office, so they can run reports and say, okay, yes, we've received 1,000 applications, that's £70,000 of revenue, or whatever term they've used. They can then see the split between what's the license fee, what's the application fee, what were the additions as well, so they can have the full breakdown when they're running the reports.
Brilliant. A couple more. So can notice documents be easily created on the consultation page? So we've covered that, absolutely. Even consultation, we've said you've got the portal and you've got the email that will go out to the applicant. If they lose that and they get in touch with the council saying, I think I should have received something, but I didn't, the council can generate it again. And just resend another one. And if they didn't want to generate it, they can just say, yep, it's in your account. Just log in and you'll see your consultation notice, just print it as you were. Nice.
So I think we've covered a lot more around consultation anyway earlier on.
We did. And easy for enforcement officers to issue FPNs to run inspections.
So is it easy for enforcement officers using FPNs to run inspection? Okay. I guess what we're saying there is if the enforcement officer was issuing FPNs throughout the databases and they wanted to do inspections on the side of that.
Yeah.
So short answer is yes. We've covered this already, where they can have the inspections part on the mobile device. Yeah. So if they were issuing an FPN to someone for an FPN offence, and then think, I want to go actually and inspect that property over the road, then they can view up the inspections.
Nice. And would that work also? So for example, if they're out and about, and it happens when I go on site visits all the time, and you see someone with all their veg hanging out onto the footway, and you're like, oh, do you have a license or not? They can go in and check that as well.
Yeah.
So really this is enabling them, whilst they're out issuing, to do an inspection that's either planned or ad hoc as they're walking.
Exactly that. So one bit of functionality that will be in probably within the next month or so is a map, visibility map.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
So the enforcement officer can open up a map and it will show all of the licenses that are active in that area. So they can say, show my location, as you would on a map, and it would zoom in and it would show all the licenses around them. So if they were looking at that greengrocers right in front of them, they'd say, yes, you've got a license and it's active, and they can maybe click on that and it will show them some of the information.
Are they within their boundary?
Absolutely,
for example?
yeah. And if for instance they were looking at that greengrocers and it's like, well, my map isn't showing any license in there, then they can go and do a bit more investigation, zoom in on the map, be really specific, and say, I'm really confident there's not one here. They can even go to then the licenses part of the system on their mobile device and just search for the business name. I guess then they've got training to go and speak to the person, say, could you show us your license, or what's your license number? And they can just search in the system.
Very nice. Very nice. It sounds like we've done some great work here, but you're all probably sick of hearing Anthony and I's voice now. So we're going to hand off to some questions over to you all.
It's your mouse.
Yeah.
So if you go to Zoom, you can find it. It's top right. There you go.
Okay. So we've got some questions open up, and do everyone feel free to add in any questions you've got as we're talking. So Mr. Moran, is there an example of a local authority client who does the one account sign-in approach as well? Oh, so single sign-on.
Yeah, okay. We don't do single sign-on with a client yet for licensing, but we know it's absolutely possible. We do it already. So Zap, like I said, licensing is a module inside Zap Permit. Zap Permit has got many single sign-on with councils. So just to name a few, I know Oxfordshire County Council, that does single sign-on. London Borough of Redbridge, they do single sign-on. There's probably lots more. I don't want to quote them wrong, but if we needed, absolutely,
their preference.
Yeah. So from our system, as soon as you go to log in or register, it takes them to the council's page. And as soon as they click that button, whatever they see after that is in the council's control.
Yeah.
So, whatever page they wanted to display of how you create your account, it's all there. I know East Suffolk did that as well. So there's quite a few councils already out there doing single sign-on.
That is nice. That is nice. And Mr. Moran, he's asked all the questions. So on the local authority side, is there an overview option that allows authorised officers to see all licences issued to a specific business or address, maybe enabling them to see pavement, parking permit, late trading licence, etc.? So I think he's asking to see sort of multiple licences at the same business.
Yeah, I guess, yes. It's probably not far off what I was saying about the map. They'll be able to see all the licenses in a map view that's issued that way. Even without the map, you can go to a licensing table, filter on business name, see all the licenses that businesses have got. The filters are so customizable that you can easily navigate to an individual person or an address.
Yeah.
So you can say, okay, this one address, what licenses has it got? So I guess yes is the answer to that.
Yeah. Brilliant. And then with a multitude of licensings being offered, how does an LA procure and roll out a single system that is used by different departments running legacy systems? Who is the ideal lead within an LA to harmonise licensing using the platform? I mean, if I'm honest, so most boroughs will procure individually. I think, you know, getting the message out that there is a system that does it across multiple services, but I would envisage it'd probably be someone like IT services that would look at something like this across multiple.
Yeah, yes, you're right. And then ideally, if they were to discuss with lots of different departments, like a central project manager, the council side, that can liaise with all the departments, pull all the requirements from different departments, and, you know, advocate the benefits of using the one system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I guess a centralized project manager or a centralized IT manager to bring all those requirements together to us will then make sure we get the best out of it all.
Or maybe procurement even could pull that sort of thing together.
Oh, for that stage.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I cannot see any more questions. So if there aren't any, I'll give it a minute or two, but if there aren't, we'll wrap up. It doesn't look like any more are coming through. But Anthony and I would just really like to say thank you very much for spending an hour with us.
We've got Mark, you just said me again.
Oh, me again. Go on, Mark.
We'll give you a minute, Mark. It's like where everyone's watching him type now.
Scroll up for this one. Can enforcement teams tap into the system? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the most straightforward way, without going into all the integrations, is it's easily accessible from a web, from a handheld.
Yeah.
So depending on how the mobile device is locked down, they could just simply have the Zap permit device. Sorry, it's not an app. The web page link already there. So they click on it. They would log in if it hasn't saved the login details, and then they're straight away there. They can view all of the relevant information. If they needed integration, you know, we could speak to the council and understand what those integrations are. We're not afraid of integrations. We do them, you know, in lots and lots of different places. But the easy answer is yes. You know, it's the most simplistic way is just putting the, like I said, the Zap permit link on their device. It's all it renders to the screen. So you know, it just because it looks nice on a laptop screen. Yeah, we've tested all the screens that when they shrink down, you can still use it really fast on a mobile device.
I'm assuming, you know, this is Zap permit. We could integrate with Zap Park effectively, which is our FPN and PCN issuance system. So absolutely, that enforcement integration would be.
We do that for permits.
Yes.
With licenses, because there's a lot more information. Yeah. We're kind of taking that bit a bit slower.
Absolutely.
Saying if there's a huge need for it, we'll absolutely do it. Yeah. But at the moment, we've got a nice workable solution where you have the two systems side by side. Yeah. Going from one to the other means that you've got all the information there. If it's through an integration, you then need to make sure that information is displayed properly in the other application that you're sending it to. Yeah. But you know, with the world of APIs, you can send all that data over. So if you needed the license information with a bit more of the application answers, then you can ping them across too. So it's a good question, Mark.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. I think, hold on. Can the system be used to manage lane rentals?
Lane rentals.
Interesting.
Well, I've not looked into lane rentals specifically at all, but if it's a application with a series of questions that would fit into what I've spoken about, and a lot of questions fit into that. Yeah. And we, you know, payment, take payments, and it goes through the typical application process. Yeah. Then yes, if there's extra things on top of that, like I don't know if these go to consultation or inspection, but if they do, you know, you've got that option there. But if it's a simple application with a payment on, then yes, we can do it. But without knowing the extra details, can't say for sure. But if anybody wants to speak about that in more detail after the call, then more than happy to do so.
Yeah, I'd definitely say so. Lane rentals, we're talking about internally generally. So actually, this will probably be something that we do offer longer term anyway, because it's certainly on our roadmap. Brilliant. Well, can I just say thank you hugely to everyone that's attended. We really appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
If you do want to get in contact and know any more about it, please feel free to contact me or Anthony. But thank you very much for your time. Take care.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.